Hey everyone, Jessica here, and I'm super excited to introduce you to a new type of product that I've created called a Style Start. And if you're familiar with my color couture, it's kind of like that, but I have just taken it up a level. So we'll get into that later. But to start off, I'm going to show you my muse for my first Style Start, which is this outfit by Marchesa, and this is fall 2019 ready to wear. So what's cool is if you've got it well ahead of time and you're going to be very on trend for fall designs. And so I pulled colors out of here, and I actually zoomed in and pulled out these lovely mauve and plum and purple tones from On the Flowers. And then I really was inspired by this ferny motif here. And so I created my own set of vine fern brushes, which are great and which you can use to make designs and patterns and do a lot with Photoshop brushes. There's so much you can do right in Photoshop and create amazing designs just with brushes. So I've got the colors that I've pulled out from this look, even some of the like the skin fleshy kind of colors that really complements that. So I have that in there, and then this whole romantic motif of the vines. So let's pop over to Photoshop and get straight into it. So I'm really excited about this Style Start. And a lot of you guys are familiar with my color couture, which, as you know, is a couture color palette that I pulled from a fashion inspiration or some other kind of inspiration. And those are palettes, solid color palettes, and then there are also color palettes for your wet and impressionist brushes that I've created. And those are special color blending brushes. But what I did with the Style Start is I also, I have all of those things, but I also have text that gives you a style already decided for text for headline, subheading, and body copy. I've made special brushes, and also you have layer styles. So you have the complete creative package for your designs. And then I went a step further, and I'm always trying to think of like, how can I help you work harder? Well, smarter, not harder. And I think about how I work myself. And so I had this idea of condensing everything into a nice sidebar PSD so that you can have it over here next to your document open at the same time. So it really needed to be long and narrow. And so that way you've got everything and all of your styles and your whole style guide right here in your face. You don't have to switch between. It's narrow enough that you can have them two up. And if you don't know how to do this, you go to Window, Arrange, and then go two up vertical, and you can have your two windows vertical side by side. And this way, I just think it's great because it keeps everything in your face. You can pop over, drag and drop. And, you know, I could have laid this out fancier and made this like into a big old document, but I really love this idea. And this really keeps you focused on your colors. It keeps you focused on the theme. It reminds you what your brushes look like, because sometimes, you know, if you get a set of brushes, it's over here in your brush panel and you don't remember it, or you're like, okay. But here you have no excuse. You remember what your brushes look like. You've got your layer styles. And what's cool is I've made a sample of each layer style. But if you click on the circles, you can copy and paste the layer style from right here. So you don't need to bother even to install those. Just copy and paste your layer styles from this document. And here you've got your wet paint palette, so you can see what the wet paint is going to look like. And you've got that there. And then down here is the actual palettes that you sample from, and I put them at the bottom so that you know where they are. And let's just go up here from the top just to go top down. So we've got a little inspiration image, and then you've got your solid colors here. You've got your text, and what's cool is like I've already picked out a text, pick out a headline text, and you know they all go good together. So you can just drag this over here into your branding project or your template you're creating or your social media graphic and just play around with it, but it gives you a huge jump start. And here you've got a little preview of all your Impressionist palettes. And these work with any of the modern Impressionist, any of the Impressionist brushes that I have. And what's cool is if you don't have any of my brushes yet, the Impressionist brushes, I have got 2 brushes from every collection. So it gives you a 10 brush sampler pack. So for example, you've got 2 brushes from the Modern Impressionist, 2 from Artistic Autumn, 2 from Romantic English Gardens, 2 from Palm Beach, and then 2 wet brushes. And of course, those brushes are sold separately, but this gives you a little jump start, and in case you don't have them yet, so you could test them out. And don't forget, if you are an All Access member, you have access to all of this. So if you're not an All Access member, I recommend you become one. And then here you've got your color palettes up here. So these are the color blending brushes. And these palettes here that I created for this collection, they're pretty monochromatic actually. I kind of kept to that, but they work with all of the Impressionist brushes. And so you've got them, you know, visually. You remember what your palettes look like over here to the left. So let's just delete those and scroll down here. Here we've got the special illustrative brushes for Photoshop. And these can be really great for like making patterns, making designs right in Photoshop. And some of these, and you can see how I drew inspiration from the fern design on the dress. So you can just do all kinds of cool little things. And I made some of these like a fade brush. I like how they fade and you don't have to do anything. And yeah, so you've got a lot of different brushes. You've got a little some jeweled brushes. And here I'm just going to show you, I'll use one of the brushes, make a new layer. So I'll brush like that. And then I'll go over here. We've got our layer styles. So I'm just going to select that circle there, copy that layer style, pop over here and paste it. And there we go. So it gives you a great idea. And then of course, one of my favorite, we've got the wet brushes. And so these are your colors here for the wet brushes that I've already pre-mixed for you. So you can just paint these lovely strokes and you know that everything's going to go together, which is great. And then to sample, then you can just go down here, pick one of the palettes that you like, pick up the paint, and draw some beautiful brush strokes. And so that's it. So I really am looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on this style start. And please put your thoughts and your comments down below. But personally, for me, I think it's just super convenient to have this all compartmentalized right here in my face. So for example, I'm going to make some templates or social media graphics, and I've just got this right here. We can drag and drop. We can, you know, sample from that document. And this is especially useful if you create items for sale as well. Say if you make digital papers, you make templates, you make stock illustrations, you can do all of that with this. And this gives you a ginormous head start. And you don't have to even think about, oh, what should I color should I pick? What, you know, what should my motif be? What should my font choices be? I've just given you this style guide, this toolkit, and you're just ready to rock. And you can just knock out some invitations or templates or client branding work or whatever. So that's the basics of it. And if you have any questions, write them down below. And please let me know if you think this is useful and if I should make more products like this.